Love and Wellness. Precious Mother Love, I already told you. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's not a dream. Get up, get up, get up, get up. It's too extreme. I got money in my pocket. I got money in the bank, bulging from my purse and under my mattress. Yeah, yeah. Cause I already told ya, yeah. All right, that's a little bit of my music. That's the background track that was written by Nat Love. That's my brother. His handle is Nat Love, N-A-T, and I am Precious Mother Love. So we both have that love in common. blood brother from the same mother, you know. So, but One Love and Wellness. Thank you for joining us for the episode of Heart Happy Hour, and we have a lot to talk about. And I wanted to be able to set it up by telling you a little bit of the background to get you into the mood for the rest of the flavor of the things I want to talk about. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was, well, it's really two things. This particular, a comedian that I heard recently stirred up some thoughts about some things, and I think that it's a good idea that I expand on them. And as I expanded, they took on a whole new volume, plethora of things just opened up. So the comedian talked about how Queen Elizabeth became the queen, and he used that as an example of how there are levels to the Punanny. And so levels to the Punanny, to me, you know, and he described it just fine, and so I'll describe it the way he described it, but in essence, the farther you can go into the inner space of yourself, you know, the creative, natural, you know, ignition of your God spark, the deeper you can go with that, the grander the scale that we would give you as far as the level that you would have, the wider reach effect that you would have on the person or the people, or, you know, the economy, the world, all those things. But to be very honest, you know, the way that he described it, because like I said, this is how Queen Elizabeth came into becoming queen. So I believe her father was king before her, and before he was king, her father's brother was king. And if I'm not mistaken, that was King Edward. Oh, beautiful scenic routes. I've got to pull over somewhere soon. But in any case, so she became the king because queen, because her father died. Now, her father was only a king for about a year, or, you know, a very short time. And so prior to him being king, his brother was king. Oh, I see some folks on there. One Love and Wellness. Yeah, but this is the thing. The woman that King Edward ended up marrying, the way it turned out is that he actually, he met a woman from America, and that woman, she had levels to her Punanny. I mean, so she was her first marriage. She was married to a pilot. That pilot, you know, back then in that era was a elite level position. And so she, you know, had gotten to that level where, you know, she was in the elite level of caliber of people. And so next she went to the next person. Well, she divorced him, she got married again, and who she got married to was this other, and thank you for all the love, oh my gosh. So the next person was even higher level than that, bigger reach, bigger effect, you know, where she was affecting this person and he was affecting all these people. And so the next level up, where she leveled up to, was she caught the eye of King Edward. And King Edward was like, I got to have this baby girl, and I don't know if it's the same way as Solomon's wife was coveted, because he went out and started a war to that effect, I got to have this woman. So, but to get rid of Solomon so that, he could therefore, because that's how they did as far as taking care of each other's wives. So he set up the scenario. But in this case, King Edward was given the ultimatum and said, if you want to be king, you cannot be king. I mean, you cannot marry a woman that's been divorced and have it sanctioned by the church. And the church had to give the blessing to whomever the royal couple was. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the love. Oh, thank you. So that took it all to the next level. So the king was like, if I can't be king because of the woman that I want, well, guess what? I won't be king. I'll pass it to my brother. And he passed it to his brother, who couldn't handle it, who went crazy with, what he was given and was what he had to shoulder, and it just knocked him off his block. And like I said, in a short time came his demise. And so the way it turned out was her dad took it, he went crazy, and she was next in line, and that's how Queen Elizabeth became queen, or became in line for queendom. So that to me explains the level of the effect. And the level of the effect is seen more so because of, let's say, I don't know if you guys know about sex magic or tantra, or when you get in touch with yourself, when you are able to be in touch with the inner part of yourself, such that the kingdom of heaven is within. So if you're able to get to that place where you are naturally connected to that place of heaven within yourself, you can actually, the two of you, touch and agree and get to a place of a major earthquake shaking level connection, and I say that heaven is within, but I'm also agreeing that not only is it within, but if you can dig that deep within, you can actually bring it out into the experience. And so level 5, because that was 4 levels that I described. Level 5 is Eve, the original connected to source level, full connection, powerful effect across the board. You affect people at the level, you're affecting someone who has the effect on a greater expanse of people. And so first ladies, you have to give it up to them, because they have a very difficult position to be in, because that any man that has like a high level spiritual connection is going to be sought after. Any man that has high level intellect, well, for me, intelligence is sexy, is the new sexy for me. And maybe it's because of my age, but at some point I had to cut off. Like, I've been engaged 17 times. I'm sorry, 14 times. And I've been stalked 17 times. And there's a reason why. I think I have been so in touch with my inner kingdom that it just radiates out. That, they say that people who talk to or are resonating with, or babies resonate with, and animals are have an affinity towards, have a deeper depth of, well, they say they have a higher frequency. How about that? And so, as above, so below. So if you can go that high, you can go that deep. So I'm equating the depth to, the level of elevation. So if you can up your game to level 5 or level 4, because I'm not going to say I can equate out to Eve. But I will say that I have, had occasions where the thunder and lightning was in syncopation with the rhythm. I was, the rhythm of the drum I was beating. I was dancing to my own beat, the beat of my own drum. So, but so that's the first. That was a joke, and I don't know how it became not funny when I told it. But there's levels to the game. So that was one thing that this comedian got me into. He's on Netflix. He was a new one. And when I went to go back to get to see who he was and get his name and stuff, he was gone. They won't even show me him anymore. I learned so much from him that they took him off. And I hope I can find his name at some point soon. But then the second thing I wanted to kind of just to bring, this is kind of like rounding out some of the things that I'm going to talk about, is one is in reference to how, I know you probably heard the joke before, but God said, I'm going to give the lion this, I'm going to give the tiger, give the monkey this, and I'm going to give the reptile this, and they all turn back some of their time. I'm going to give you 20 years of fun, and I only need 10, so each of them did that, and then man, he got to man and said, well, I'll take his, and I'll take his, and I'll take his, and then, came out to be a good 80 years of the cycle of, this many years of messing around, and this many years of getting serious, and this many years of, well, how it all comes together. I'm just saying, the big picture is that, our days, I won't say they are numbered, but we only have so much time. And as you get elder into your elder years, you start being more wise with what you do, how you spend your time, the value of the time, the value of your real estate. The most valuable real estate is that which is between your ears. And so the more you recognize that the value of your attention and your intentions, the closer you can get to a big bang theory happening. And that's so funny because I bounce around on things, and I'm gonna try not to be so bouncy sometimes. But so I have this thing where I go through some of George Clinton's songs, and George Clinton has a number of songs that I've gone through the lyrics, but I haven't gone through them in the depth that I would really want to. And so one, he says, well, how else can you attack? How else can you capture a boogie if you don't attack from the back? And then it makes fun out of the military and says, to the rear, march. And he talks about, he gets so caught up into the bones, and he said, a tail is nothing but a long booty. And so some of the things that he talks about led me to this other song, it was actually a TV show called Josie and the Pussycats, right? And so Josie and the Pussycats, let me see if I can remember some of the song. Josie and the Pussycats, long tails and ears for hats, guitars with sharps and flats. And then they talk about the different types of personalities that they are. So, but anyway, it's like you can't. I said that word pussycats to someone just recently, and they were like, don't, shh, there's a baby around. And, don't keep saying that word. And it's almost as though you're saying a curse word when you say the word pussy without cats, pussycats. So it's crazy that, it's almost as though we've made pussy a cuss word. Your genitals have become a curse. Like you are cursing when you're saying these vital organs that are essential to reproduction and essential to balanced emotions, or your hormones. If you were to not participate in any intimate exchange, your hormones would drive you cuckoo. You'd be the cat lady. Speaking of cats, Josie and the Pussycats, that's why I wanted to talk about the Pussycats, because the song itself, okay, so it talks about, it says no time for playing with cats, and that's when the cat actually trips the Indian on the video, on the intro to the cartoon. The Indian is coming in the room chasing after the Pussycats, and there's one that, I forget her name, but she's the mean one that has the white streak down her hair, and she has a cat. And so, oh yeah, WAP, because I'm come back to you, David. I got you on that. I'm telling you, I got you on that. But yeah, so it was like, let me see, the no time to play with the cats, right? So cats are supposedly, regarding the Egyptian temples and things like that, they are sacred animals to them. And I think it may tie into that 9 lives thing, which may symbolize something that they were trying to do as far as to recycle the lives, you know. But anyway, I had a conversation. Well, no, I didn't have a conversation. I was listening to something on Black Magic. Look, I got so into it, I was like, there. But Black Magic was talking about, or he had a guest on that was talking about cats and Lemurians, and how cats have certain traits that are sought after and that are utilized in certain ways in spiritual cultures, in cultures in their spirit, the way they handle spiritual things. So it says, I want to go back to some of these words on this song again. No time for playing with cats. It says, see all the treasures, and or maybe no, or maybe be friends. So to me, I'm thinking that they on that song talking about, you can see all my treasures, but if not, we can still just be friends. And the treasures was again what was inferred, Josie and the Pussycats, because it was a girls all girls group. um and it says, injuries and taking chances, be with us and make out. It says no difference, no difference, everything. Oh gosh, I can't say it in the rhythm of it because I lost the tune in my head. But the words are, no difference, everywhere there's actions, that's where we are. We're involved in this and that. And so in the song where they say, we are everywhere there is anything going on, that a woman was there first because someone was born and they had populated the planet and blah blah blah. That could be one way to think about it. But then another way to think about it is that um, it seems like women are everywhere and in everything, but you just don't, unless you have eyes to see, you're not going to see they sewed the clothes, or they made the meals, or they rallied, they fed the troops, or they actually have a influence and a lot going on within. But they only talk about what the man did. They didn't talk about the things that kept it going, the things that were the fire beneath the wings. I mean, the motivation beneath the wings, and kind of thing. So, and that takes me back to another George Clinton song, Not Just Knee Deep. He said, not just knee deep, she was totally deep when she did the freak with me. So that's back to the levels that I was talking about. So, not just knee deep. She wasn't on the physical level, although I want to say that the knees is also the place where the red blood, the stem cells, which are the red cells in your bone marrow, uh, begin to turn into the blood that's circulating through your body. Femur bone, your let me see, what did I your anyway, I think it's the femur, or is it tibula and fibula? I'm sorry, it's at the connection part of the tibula and the fibula, and then whatever bones are up on the top. Anatomical names for them, so I apologize, I'm not that scientific at that place. But I was going so hard and heavy on these directives that I just had to come out and tell you some of these things, you know. Because and just explain again that last sentence that I said about the not just knee deep, and she was totally deep. But just before that, when I talked about Josie and the Pussycats, that they're everywhere, they're everywhere that the actions act, and they're in this and that. So when I say that, I'm actually saying that to say that we are being over. Things have been switched over. There's a lot of things that could be accredited to the female. But really, if I go back to God, God is no separator. You say no separation of person. God, the original source energy, the original energy is not male or female. And again, energy is not good or bad. It's all in what you do with it, good or bad things with it. So I don't know if I've covered all of the things I wanted to cover. There's another joke from this comedian. The Kinsey Institute, which was started back in the 60s. I think I'll be able to go find a place where I can sit by the water, and I'm on the road to it right now. But okay, so Kinsey Institute was formed in the 60s. This same comedian told me this information. It made me start digging up some stuff and go through some resources to find some information. And so let me see if I can move my mirror so I can see where okay, so I can go. So, okay, so the Kinsey Institute in the 60s, 70s studies that, sexuality. And, at some point in the 70s, we started talking about gay or straight, So it was two ends of a spectrum, and Kinsey actually put everything into a perspective, right? So I say, and one of my colleagues brought to my thoughts, which has stuck with me and resonated, that, the yin and the yang symbol, there's 5% of white in the black and 5% of black in the white, So Kinsey Institute says that every person is at least, at minimum, 5% gay. So their studies say that everyone is gay, but to what percent are you gay? The man that has a baby in his arms, taps into his softer side when he does the kitchi kitchi goo, and or when he has to do his daughter's hair, and or when he decides that he's going to do some of the other things that women are more famous for, or women have been encouraged to be that to be their role, and that gender related. And so I spoke about that to say this. I feel that that again has a lot to do with us balancing our energies, the spectrum that we're on, that percentage that we take on. When a woman has to think like a man or act like a man, she taps into that side of herself. When a man has to do the same thing, doing the opposite. So in my mind, when I'm with a very masculine man, I become a very feminine female. More the softer side of me comes out just naturally. Just, it radiates in a way like to balance out, what's coming at me. I am able to not have to rise in any way to posture in the position of the energy that he has, and vice versa. He's not going to be the softer side of himself. Although I have met men that's their decision. They want to be the softer side, and I have noticed I end up being the rougher, tougher, rough and tough with all that stuff chick, not something that I prefer to be, but something that it seems like is a natural affinity. And so as I get closer to the water, and as I start thinking about remember that song, Make Me Sweat, Make Me Water. These are things, and this is where I'm coming back to what David said. These are things that, we put it in the face of the public, and the public decides, is it too much? Because she bumping her hip out there, like, boom, boom, boom. Make me sweat, make me water, make me lose my breath. That's she's talking about taking him to some new levels. Well, just to refer back to quickly what David had put up there, that WAP, for a whole year, that song, well, let me see you WAP, 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 wiggle, 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 now lean, wet ass pussy. That is the name of that. So that's what that WAP stands for, WAP, that's what that stands for. And nobody is really being, because it's a code word, but the kids know what it is. I just learned what it was, didn't know before what it was, but now that I know what it is, I'm like, wow, hidden in plain sight again? Good gracious alive. What's it say? Yesterday, my grandma got hit by a drunk driver. Okay, in memory of, if this is the truth, I send you all love and light. I hope that this isn't somebody trolling and doing something that would not be nice. But if in any case, I spread love, I share love, I thank you for sharing. If that is the case, then yes, I'd be glad that you would share that information with us, and that you would share that memory fondly, that she did what she came here for. It was her time, and she's gone on to do the next level work of what her spirit was sent to this dimension to do. Now, it might be she's in another dimension, or whatever the case is. I'm hoping that you'll have fond memories as you think back on all the things that you decided to hold near and dear to your heart. And for me, I don't go to services as much as most other people do, as far as memorial services. I like to be able to remember them the way they were and not have to see whatever process that they've gone to get to the place where they are laid to rest. And I lay them to rest in my heart, and I thankfully have that memory of that experience that they enhanced my life with, and I carry that memory fondly with me, and turn to it often when I'm trying to lighten the mood on some of the reasons why. If I miss them dearly, there may be some times when I feel a little bit of sadness, but I'm also trying to maintain that happy place about their presence and what they gave me and the beautiful things that they brought into my life and into my energy. So I think I'm getting close to the water, and I may have to pause. I wasn't able to talk to everybody, but I'm hoping you guys are with me, and going to hold on for a couple more minutes while I finish. And maybe I'll have one more story to tell. And this was about Yogananda Paramahansa. This is another thing about levels, but not about Punanny, but levels. So I read the book, Autobiography of a Yogi, and that book was by Yogananda Paramahansa. And so I actually had found that most of the things in that book that he had discovered or had interviewed people in reference to, let me see, scenic something, roots and something. I think I'm going to go this way. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to bring up him is because in that book he talks about all these people who have, I think I want to go that way. No, marine slips. Yeah, so that means that water is that way. So I'm going to turn around and go that way. So he actually, I met him in my dream. And I want to say that it was something more than a dream, because I was able to bring something back from that dream. And in the dream, he actually took me through some levels. And I know it was him because later on, it was a child that actually took me through these levels. And we went to a temple. The temple was on a hill. There was no way to get to the temple unless you were elevated. And as I was elevated to the next levels, I was able to get up closer and closer to the level that the temple was on, until finally I was given access to the temple. And in the temple, he awarded me a piece of jewelry, and the jewelry had tri-gold or it was a tri-colored tri-metal necklace with rose gold, yellow gold, and I'm not sure what the other gold, white gold or something like that. And I was gifted that in my dream, and I came back from my dream with it in my hand. Ooh, and the phone rang. So I came back from the dream with the necklace in my hand, and I showed it to some folks that were there with me. And one of those folks happens to be one of the folks that helped me to come up with putting together the Gateway Meditation, Master Chef. And he actually helped me with the tapping of the chakras, which that's again another thing that's involved with the levels. If you're able to release each one of those chakra gates that allow you to go to the next level, it's not something that some people come by it naturally, and some people have to be taught it, and some people they don't have any knowledge of what they're doing. They just know what they're doing is working. It's getting them what they need. It's getting them to the place of where they're being elevated to new levels. Yes, their sex game, I believe, like for instance, I was a salesperson for years, and they say that people who are salespeople have a very high libido, and I'm not going to disagree with that, but I will say this, that, and they say that they're highly sexed people, meaning that if they're effective, they're getting fucked. Ooh, I said that. You're not going to have someone at the top of their game and they're not getting to access and to let out and to manipulate the energies of their sex drive. It's just, in my opinion, not something that will go well for it for very long if abstinence is a regular course, like boxers who have to abstain, boxers who have to maintain their energy at a certain place. Not just boxers, that's my experience with a boxer, but with athletes. The majority of the athletes, have periods of time when they are told to abstain. And see, that takes me back to the Tao of sexism, where I had learned in that resource that if you are, what do you call it? Ejaculation. So you actually, I think I'm going to make a stop. So ejaculation is where you allow the inner chi that is produced from that vortex. You're getting to the place where, and I'm going to turn around and go back to that store because I'm seeing shores down here, which means I am in the right area to pull over and be waterside. But yeah, so again, I'm tripping myself out with some of this wordplay. So yeah, it seems as though there is a connection to all of these things that I'm saying. I'm drawing the line between all of them, because as I said, cats. Okay, so the person that was on Black Magic talking about cats yesterday, I think it was even Rich that made the comment about Cat Williams, and the fact that what the traits that she was talking about, Cat Williams was exhibiting, Lemurian traits. So, but in any case, One Love and Wellness, thank you for joining me. I think I'll start again in a couple of minutes. I'm going to go in here to the store. Hopefully they'll have the things that I need right quick. Looks like a cute little spot. And I'm going to get what I can get and then come back out. So thanks for joining me, One Love and Wellness. Let me see who's here right quick. Is she a smoker? Is who a smoker? Um, One of the girlfriends, one of the people I was talking about. Okay. And anything else that I missed in here? Okay, I see the WAP from David. Smoke. Oh, y'all, don't be trolling. Don't be trolling. It's not nice to fool with Mother Nature. Mother love, one love and wellness. Ashe. You guys, peace. I'll see you shortly. One love. Oh, any music? No, we'll come back with the music. Ashe, one love.